accomplished.
Seat as though I was like, pleasure to meet you, Your Majesty. Like, was that okay?
But wait, there's more.
The conversation of he won't be given security, he's not going to be given a title. And also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
Hold up.
Hold up.
There's
Stop
several
right now.
There's several conversations.
There's a
about
conversation with you
with Harry
about how dark your baby is going to be?
potentially and what that would mean or look like.
Oprah, they're so racist. That's not racist. Because even black people want to know. How brown the baby gonna be?
That conversation I'm never going to share.
Ooh, this is uncomfortable.
We'll talk when we get home.
Hello. Oh, this is just sort of a hot mess today, isn't it? Well. Let's see. Well, maybe we'll just take this out. We'll go with plan B and see if that works better. Let's see here. Gotta have the crown. I think, friends, that today is our last day of reading this book. And then in May, we pick back up with the new book. I thought this was going to last longer. I didn't realize how many footnotes were in the back and references, citations. And so I thought it was going to take us right up to when the new book got released, and then maybe a month later we would start reading it. But we might just start in with that other book right as soon as we have access to it. So yeah, and then I don't think today's chapter is very long either, so we might have a shorter get together today. And then I'm not sure if we're going to do lives for a little bit. I think what I was talking about at the live, was it Monday afternoon? I might go back and watch Welcome to Plathville. I didn't have time for it. Seeking Sister Wives was closer to Sister Wives than Welcome to Plathville was. Welcome to Plathville was just one of those. Somebody recommended it, so I did it. Just like somebody recommended Traders, and so I did it. And I really did love Traders. I can't keep up with them. I don't have the time to watch these shows. Like if I had the time to watch the shows, I would do a quick review, even if it's just 5 minutes, and put it up here. But I don't even have the time to watch the shows. I'm telling you. Some people just don't believe how busy I am, and that's fine. You don't have to believe it, but the reality is I'm really busy. And I don't have the time because I would love to have been caught up in Welcome to Plathville. I was enjoying the series a lot in a very snarky kind of way. So it is what it is. We'll just do what we can do here. Let me say hi to who is here. Who is here? Jane is here. Hi, Jane. Welcome. And Sarah, too. And Maureen and Teresa. Hello, friends. All right, we're going to jump in. The instant #1 international bestseller. You know that his book that's coming out in May is going to be a #1 bestseller too, And I will say, there's a small part of me that's a little guilty reading it online since it's available for sale. And of course I want to. So I probably every week I'm just going to say, go buy the book. Or maybe you should probably buy the book to follow along with me because I really struggle to read his writing. No, don't, because then you'll see the times that I just kind of skip over bizarre words. Oh gosh. He makes me feel like a loser. Alrighty. It is chapter 43 today, which is called Fallout. There are other books out there like on the same topic that we could continue with, but I don't know that I'm going to start them because we wouldn't have time to get through them before his next book comes out. And I really am very curious what the next book has to say because I feel like he's done a decent job with this one. In fact, before I start this last chapter, let me read to you what it says here in the endnotes, because after the chapter, there's a bunch of acknowledgments, and I thought, oh, am I going to read the acknowledgments today? And I glanced over them. No, it's just a list of names, basically. Publisher, all those people. But he has this little paragraph at the very end before the actual citations, all the citations start, which he calls endnotes. And it says this. I interviewed over 80 people in the United States, Canada, Britain, and Ireland. All the revelations are from eyewitnesses. Those who are on record are listed in the endnotes. For understandable reasons, the majority insisted on anonymity. Anonymity. Whoo! Tongue not working today. Anonymity. I'm still okay. You know what I'm saying. With a few exceptions. I have included the information from unnamed sources in the text and avoided the irritating footnote of private source. The exceptions are where I felt it was important. Meghan Markle's life is a media story fought over in newspaper, magazines, books, TV interviews, and court proceedings. So I make no apology for citing the many different public sources and naming the journalists who have observed this saga since 2016. A great many citations and references in this book come from a select core sources, predominantly from printed news, media, and books. And then he goes on to say the abbreviations he used. So anytime he was quoting a source in the book, there was a citation, there was a number next to it, just like the good old papers that we did when we were in high school and college. And the number of times he sorted, the very end here is an index. So let's just get to the end of the citations. He has 882 citations in this book. So whenever he would say something, he would say exactly where he got that source from, whether it be from one of those printed or video news sources, or whether it was from a person that spoke to him. Anyway, and this is why the man hasn't been sued. He's been threatened to be sued a lot. And he's like, okay. And then they don't. Why don't they? Because they know they don't have a case because he's right. All right. Living an Eclectic Life is here. Yay! I'm glad you didn't miss it too. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in with chapter 43, Fallout, final chapter. At the end of March 2022, Kate and William became victims of Meghan and Harry's fervored self-promotion. Within hours of arriving in Jamaica, the second stop during an 8-day visit to the Caribbean, anti-British sentiment wrecked their goodwill tour. Neither had been adequately warned that Meghan Markle's message about the royal family's racism was ingrained across the region. Planned for months as a celebration of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge's tour was forced on... Sorry, that's not what it says. Planned for months as a celebration of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge's tour was focused on 3 Commonwealth countries, Belize, Jamaica, and the Bahamas, where the monarch remained head of state. To the Cambridge's misfortune, Their senior advisors in Kensington Palace, the British Foreign Office, and the British High Commission in Jamaica had failed to grasp some of the feelings of hostility toward the British. None of those panjandrums had reported to the palace the consequence of Meghan's sermons, namely that the Commonwealth was a relic of white colonialism and that the royal family lacked sympathy for the descendants of slaves. Meghan's denunciation of the royal family fueled exiting demands for I'm going to move this so it doesn't get my thingy doey is going in front of the words. So I'm just going to raise it up a little bit so I can see. Okay. Meghan's denunciation of the royal family fueled exiting demands for reparations from Britain for slavery and the anti-monarchist protests that their countries should become republics. British officials had dropped the unwary Cambridges, the future hope of the monarchy, into the crossfire. Insensitive photo opportunities in Kingston followed the Cambridges' humiliating appearance in front of Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Marooned like school children in a contrived televised show trial, the Cambridges were compelled to listen to Holness berate the British monarchy to promote his Republican agenda and political ambitions. The Cambridges' discomfort became worse after William, wearing a white dress, don't pause there, Jenny. Wearing a white dress uniform adorned with military medals, took the salute in an open-topped Land Rover. Criticized as caricatures of arrogant colonialists, the Cambridges were doomed once anti-British critics highlighted Kate's expensive clothes and glittering jewelry. And, I didn't realize in Britain jewelry is spelled with 2 L's. For everyone in America, the more you know. Jewelry, 2 L's. And photographs appeared of her speaking to local children through a mesh wire fence. The crisis climaxed after William made an abject apology for slavery. His words irritated most of Britons and failed to satisfy those Jamaicans who disapproved of the visit. Foolishly, on his return to London, William failed to follow the Queen's example and remained silent. Instead, he issued an embarrassing statement acknowledging the Commonwealth's fate should be reconsidered. William's performance highlighted another of Meghan's complaints. The royal family was surrounded by incompetent advisors. The anti-monarchy protests had been predicted by the media in Jamaica and New York. Newsweek's royal correspondent, Jack Royston, foresaw problems in the Caribbean for the Cambridges after Meghan's allegation that Archie's brown skin had denied him a title. Can anyone go back and just roll the footage of when she said, we don't want our kids to have titles because we wanted them to have a normal life growing up? Do you remember that? I don't remember if it was her that said it directly or if I heard it from a report, if reporters were saying, as part of this new wave of being royals, Meghan and Harry are doing things differently. They are not going to appear on the steps. They're going to not have an official christening in the way that it's always done there. The names of the godparents won't be released like they typically are on whatever day. And they are not going to have their children have titles. I wonder if originally she thought, well, she got a title. I take that back. I was going to say she's the only one that didn't have a title because she wasn't royal, but she's married into royalty. She just wasn't royal blood. I don't know. All right. Anyway. So she claimed that Archie's brown skin had denied him a title. The Gleaner, Jamaica's leading newspaper, had asked, why should Jamaica persist in loitering on colonial premises since the Queen was the matriarch of a dysfunctional British family. Oh, here's another word I've never seen before. The opprobrium. Opprobrium. Oh, Opprobrium. Helped on the Cambridges, was inflamed by the memories of Harry's acclaimed visit to Jamaica in 2012 and by the Sussexes' successful and informal tour of South Africa in September of 2019. In the aftermath, many speculated that royal visits and even the monarchy itself were relics. Wounded by the criticism, William appeared like a lost soul. By contrast, the savvy Sussexes were trampling on what remained of the Cambridges' pristine reputation. Over the previous months, Harry had been preparing for the Invictus Games, being held in The Hague in April 2022. His involvement would be featured in a Netflix series. In successive Netflix episodes, the Sussexes would feature as members of the royal family. Visibly retaining their relationship with the Queen was critically important for the Sussexes' status and income. By March of 2022, the ailing 95-year-old monarch had repeatedly canceled public engagements. The exception was her appearance at Prince Philip's memorial service. To the royal family's misfortune, the event was overshadowed by Andrew's bold appearance center stage, escorting his mother to her seat in Westminster Abbey. Defiantly ignoring his banishment from public duties, Andrew also indicated that he expected to appear in the spotlight during the Queen's Jubilee celebration in June. My book is shaking a little bit because the washing machine on the level below us is spinning right now. I can feel that. Has that ever happened to you where it radiates throughout the whole house? There must be unbalanced. There must be something heavy in there. I don't know who's doing laundry. Probably my son. Okay. Keeping Andrew out of sight was one problem. Another was Harry and Meghan's demand also to appear with the Queen on Buckingham Palace's balcony. If the three outcasts did successfully appear in the spotlight, the media's focus would no longer be the Queen's achievement over 70 years, but on her dysfunctional son and grandson. Inevitably, the public reaction would be unenthusiastic. The obstacles for Meghan and Harry to appear center stage were considerable, not least because their presence was opposed by Charles. Charles preferred that the Sussexes, as private citizens, were not invited on the balcony or the ride in the royal carriage. Well, that would make sense if they're private citizens and not royal, right? Right. Instead, they would be confirmed to the VIP enclosures. Nice VIP. They're not complete outcasts, even though they're just everyday people now. In Meghan's view, those optics were unsatisfactory, partly because her value to Netflix was to stand near the Queen. To achieve his goal, Harry badgered the Queen's resident advisors. When this failed, he asked the Queen if he could visit her in Windsor on his way to the Netherlands. To secure her agreement, Harry appeared to give the impression that the meeting would offer an olive branch to clean the air. At the last moment, keen to see her grandson and instinctively forgiving of Meghan, the Queen agreed to meet the couple on the 14th of April. Charles was suspicious, while William avoided the problem with a previous arrangement to ski with his family in France. Just so happened I have a previous engagement scheduled for that day. Skiing on the slopes. Okay. After spending the night with his cousin Eugenie, Harry and Meghan were driven to Windsor Castle. Some would say that on the way, they were seen walking through the sunlit park to allow Netflix to record their journey. On the Queen's insistence, they met Charles and Camilla before her. The Sussexes arrived late. How do you arrive late for the Queen when you're begging to have special privileges and money and protection? How? How do you arrive late? They had to have already been in the country. Oh my, that's not a good look. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. Okay. How do you arrive late to meet your parents or your in-laws? Wouldn't you insist, if they were your in-laws, that you were going to be there at least 15 minutes early? It's like a job, right? I told my son, I said, if you're not at least 15 minutes early every day to your job at work, you're late for the rest of your life. Get it in your head, because something's going to happen on the freeway at some point, and it's going to delay you a good 15 minutes because you'll be in standstill traffic. But you can still arrive on time. And God forbid it's the day that there's a big meeting of some sort. You don't have to worry about it because you're always there early. And in the rare circumstance that you are going to be late because something catastrophic or that happens, the boss is completely going to overlook it and excuse it because you're the guy that's always early. Okay, words of advice I gave my son. Apparently, Meghan's daddy didn't share that with her or her mom. So the Sussexes arrived late. Their first encounter was civilized, but failed to resolve the fraught relations created by their Oprah Winfrey interview. By contrast, there was no tension drinking tea with the Queen. Yet the issue of their appearance on the balcony remained unresolved. Their visit was leaked to the Sun after they arrived in the Netherlands on the same day. The danger of allowing the meeting surfaced 6 days later. I don't know. It's going to be a new paragraph now. I don't really know what that means. Oh, there's more people who have joined us. Hello, friends. Nadine is here. Hello. Maureen, hello. Success Squad saw Tom Bauer at the last Invictus Games researching his new book. They gained up on him and put the film online. It was disgusting as he is a very polite elderly man. Aww. Garrick Merrifield has a book. A Woman's Blueprint for a Godly Marriage. He wrote a book for a woman? Are you joking? It would be the last. It would be a blast to read and roast it. Oh gosh, I don't know if I can bring myself to give any money to support him though. I mean, it's hard enough to do it for Sister Wives, but I figured that's so far out and they all divided equally. But I just didn't want Cody and Robin to get anything. But oh, Teresa, I'm with you. I understand, but I'd have to really think hard about whether I'd be willing to financially support that man. All right. Oh, and I think it would make our stomachs upset. We would vomit every day, more than we even do on the Sister Wives show. Listening to him give advice for women? Are you joking? Oh. I think I might swear on every episode and then have to delete everything. All right. Where were we? Okay, they were in France. Okay, the danger of allowing the meeting surfaced 6 days later. Followed by Netflix cameras, the Sussexes proved themselves modern and compassionate as they faultlessly mixed in the hog with the athletes. I don't know what the hog is, but it's obviously like a place in England somewhere. Always smiling and dressed in an unending change of expensive clothes while watching the events, Meghan played the stunning hostess, pledged to offer service to the world. But festering was their fury that the palace had refused all of their demands for a prominent role at the Jubilee in return for returning to Britain with their children. Oh, they used their children as collateral? They said the only way they would bring their kids to Britain is if they get a prominent place at the Queen's Jubilee. Really? Shameful. Harry could not resist venting his anger to an American NBC TV reporter. His special relationship with the Queen, he told the world, meant that the Queen confided in him secrets unknown to others of her family. Her 4 children and 7 other grandchildren, he implied, were excluded from her confidence. Did he say that? He had a special in with the Queen with a special confidence that no other children or grandchildren received. He said that. Okay. More inflammatory, he declared his duty was to make sure his grandmother was protected and got the right people around her. Charles, Anne, William, and all the Queen's staff suggested Harry were inadequate for that task. He appeared to speak from the heart, not as a thoughtless man, totally manipulated by his wife. Harry, like Meghan, had resumed the war against his family. The olive branch media headline about his visit to Windsor splintered. Predictably, Harry's assertion of his special status aroused accusations about the breathtaking arrogance with no bounds to his self-delusion. Responding to the public fury, Downing Street even issued a statement that the Queen was well protected. Wow. Clearly unwilling to limit the damage, the most wounding moment of his TV appearance was his refusal to answer whether he missed his brother and dad. He refused to answer the question. Ignoring his family, he knew would be offset among most American viewers by warmly responding to any mention of his mother. Asked about Diana's presence in his life, he replied, "It's constant. It has been over the past 2 years, more so than ever before." Ever since Meghan came in his life, more so than ever before. Right. Because Meghan has him convinced that she channels Diana. In a bid to own Diana, he added, quote, "It's almost as though she's done her bit with my brother, and now she's very much helping me. She got him set up, and now she's helping me set up," end quote. No, he's so misguided, right? Everything is falling apart ever since he came over to America. Everything. All the job opportunities, everything's shriveling up. It's going away. Nothing's successful. Nothing's making money. He's going and talking to small hotel rooms of realtors to make money. He's begging for money from daddy back at home, refuses to bring his kids over there. It's a hot mess. The relationship with his family is blown apart. Do you think for a second Diana would be guiding him to make decisions that would put a wedge between him and his brother William? No, she wouldn't. It's like that same thing where Garrick and Cody and so many people are talking about, like, I spoke to God and this is what he said to me. No, he didn't. Stop talking about what your desires are and say that it's God. It's wrong. It's blasphemous. This is the same thing. Diana is not putting a wedge between you and your brother, and that's what's happening. End of story. All right, back to the book. Unconvincingly, the multimillionaire implicitly linked his mother to a plea for a more equal world. Finally, he volunteered that America was his home. That was a direct contradiction of his recent submission to the High Court while appealing for special protection. Britain, his lawyers told the judges, is and always be his home. Well, just depends on which way the wind's blowing, I guess. Oh, whatever serves him. Within those few minutes on television, Harry had indicated the danger of his appearance at the Jubilee celebrations. Everything was about himself and Meghan. Disloyal to the royal family, the Sussexes cast doubt on whether they could be trusted. Merely 4 years since their wedding, the Sussexes had transformed the royal family from a relatively harmonious group embracing multiculturalism as part of their service to Britain and the Commonwealth into a beleaguered institution uncertain of its future. Single-handedly, and for considerable financial gain, the Sussexes had tarnished the Queen's global reputation for unblemished decency. To their harshest critics, they had become agents of destruction. Meghan never appeared to understand that the Queen was much more than a celebrity. She represented Britain's national identity and charitable values. The constitutional monarchy was the reason for Britain's historic liberties and stability, while many neighboring European states had succumbed to dictatorships. Through every crisis, the Queen symbolized continuity to Britons. Unwilling to grasp that she could not share the spotlight with the Queen, Meghan had accelerated her return to California. So she threw a temper tantrum and went home early? Okay. It's one way to handle a problem, I suppose. Very childish, but disloyal to the Windsors, she and Harry showed no concern for their Oprah Winfrey interview that had compromised the eventual transition from the Queen to Charles. They appeared delighted that their outspoken revenge had complicated the management of the inevitable difficult time. Charles's challenge would be to disarm the Sussexes, who would not remain silent and compliant. The Sussexes' credibility and coffers required them to grandstand from California as members of the very family they unceasingly damned. The doubt remained whether Charles possessed either the skill or ruthlessness to expel the Sussexes from the royal family, strip them of their titles. Yet anything less jeopardized his reign and William's inheritance. Charles's problem was the Queen's determination to unite her family on possibly her last state occasion. On the 6th of May, the royal family and their officials finally agreed to an act. At 3 p.m., the palace announced that Meghan, Harry, and Andrew were banned from the balcony for the trooping of the color. Only working royals would stand with the Queen for the start of the celebrations on the 2nd of June in front of loyal Britons. The Queen and Charles had ended the damaging farce created by the Sussexes. That had to have stung, that it was together with Andrew. I mean, Andrew was known for a lot of awful things at that time. And for them to say, yeah, Andrew, Meghan, and Harry, none of you are going to be up there. I mean, there are different circumstances, obviously, but I'm saying it had to sting to hear that announcement for sure. The news media had been forewarned about the announcement 1 hour earlier. Among those notified was Omid Scobie. Alerted by their unofficial spokesman, the Sussexes became desperate. They had lost the battle. Their status and Netflix demanded their presence in London. With little hesitation, Harry abandoned his demands for special protection, and Meghan agreed to the downgraded role. 18 minutes after Buckingham Palace's announcement, Scobie revealed that the Sussexes would, after all, be coming to London with their children, excited and honored. In quotes, excited and honored. was their face-saving phrase. The next problem for palace officials was to limit any damage the Sussexes might cause over the weekend amid their angry family. Any attempt to milk the Jubilee for Netflix would cause a scandal. Unexpectedly, financed by a TV company, Thomas Markle decided to visit London during the Jubilee. He did? How did I not know this stuff? "I'm coming to see the Queen," he said from Mexico, aware that he risked disrupting the celebrations. Oh. His principal objective, he knew, would be to embarrass his daughter. Herself anxious to be filmed with her children meeting the Queen. The sudden resignation of Toya Holness just before the Sussexes' arrival in London reflected the couple's problems to keep their show on the road. Netflix's interests, the Sussexes knew, ran counter to the palace's. If the Queen's officials failed to suppress the Markles family feud, the weekend threatened to become a media-inspired bloodbath. Then suddenly, the threat was averted. On the 23rd of May, Thomas Markle suffered a stroke. Well, that was a sad conclusion to the problem, right? Driven across the border to a California hospital, he had lost his ability to speak. His trip to London, financed by a British TV station, was abandoned. The danger of the Markle family feud dominating the Jubilee disappeared. Instead of driving south for 3 hours to see her ailing father, Meghan flew on a private jet, concerned about the environment, to Uvalde in Texas to lay flowers at a shrine of the 19 school children and 2 of their teachers slaughtered by a teenage gunman. In her absence, the palace and Harry agreed that the Sussexes would meet the Queen on Lilibet's first birthday, but not seek the limelight. While invited to the service of Thanksgiving in St. Paul's Cathedral, they would not seek any further attention. Okay. Let me just catch up here. Maureen said, Diana loved her 2 sons above all others, and I believe she would want Harry to be William's right-hand man when he becomes monarch. I agree. I'm sure she thought the 2 of them were going to be 2 peas in a pod when it came to ruling the country, that William's the face of it all, but that Harry and him would do it together, kind of, almost. Yeah, right-hand man. Yeah. Far from it. All right, during the Jubilee celebrations, few believed that Britain would abandon the monarchy, but equally, few did not recognize that the public's enthusiasm for the royal family had, within just 4 years, been diminished. That was caused by Andrew's behavior and partly Megxit. In her own terms, Meghan's career had been an astounding success. Thanks to her father, she had prospered despite her parents' divorce, and during her school years, her mother's frequent absence. Therefore, her acting career and personal relationships had been a mixed success. At 34, she had faced an uncertain future. Meeting Harry had delivered the fame and fortune that she sought since childhood. Engineering that encounter and overcoming the justified doubters among Harry's family exposed the determination of a Hollywood survivor. Toughness came with a price. Concealing humiliation to achieve success had transformed a compassionate young woman into a merciless opportunist. To advance herself, she had not only abandoned her father and close friends, but first misled Harry's relations, and then been accused of lying to Oprah Winfrey. The consequences for the Windsors were irrelevant to Meghan. She only considered the advantages for herself. Her television appearance with Winfrey had reinforced her global celebrity. The question was whether her damage to others in revenge for their refusal to meet her demands would eventually result in self-destruction. Even Meghan's fiercest critics could not convincingly predict the outcome after the Oprah Winfrey interview. In the short term, she and Harry would remain a contented family, contented family. They're content. Enjoying extraordinary wealth in the sun. In the medium term, her fate is uncertain. Until now, the Sussexes' only guaranteed income is trading off the family that they had betrayed. But at 40 years of age, Meghan remains ambitious, if only to finance her lifestyle. Money remains a permanent incentive. In 10 years, Meghan's going to be 50. Does that seem shocking to you? That's shocking to me. In 10 years, Meghan's going to be 50. Well, less than that because she's in her 40s now. In like 8 years, Meghan's going to be 50. Wow. Money remains a permanent incentive. Earning millions of dollars every year depends on the Sussexes' originality and celebrity. Both are limited by reality and time. Her singular bold move would be a political career. Oh, can you imagine? I always said she's a politician. Her and Cody both. Politicians. Say a bunch of words, mean nothing. Be held accountable for nothing. Apologize for nothing. California's Democrats might well be prepared to select the Duchess of Sussex as a candidate for Congress. Even if her royal title were temporarily dropped, she possesses celebrity appeal. Her appearance and speech at the Invictus Games confirmed her influence. Her appearance and speech, which is better than mine, so who am I to say? At the Invictus Games confirmed her fluency and charm. Whether her self-interest is sufficiently robust to ignore the inevitable conflicts and criticism that politics throw up is uncertain, but it would not deter her at the outset. Meghan's good fortune is that she does not appear to suffer a bad conscience for the hurt she caused the Queen and her family, nor for the disappointment to millions of Britons. She retains the power to damage the institution to which they have been compelled by birth to dedicate their lives. With her fixed Hollywood smile, Meghan was too savvy to reveal her feelings as she walked into St. Paul's Cathedral. Harry looked tense. Meghan barely stopped rubbing his back. Meghan barely stopped rubbing his back. They were seated in the second row on the other side of the aisle from the senior members of the royal family. Charles, William, and Kate studiously avoided looking in their direction. The Cambridges had ensured that they would not meet the Sussexes over the weekend. Netflix were also denied. Netflix were or Netflix was? Netflix is a singular plural. It's a group, so it would be was. Anyway, different in England because this guy's language is way better than mine. Netflix were also denied the planning shot associating the couple with the Queen. Oh, the panning shot. Okay, so they wanted that on camera. They wanted that picture for their documentary or the other programs that they were doing of Harry and Meghan next to the Queen, with the Queen. And that ideally what they wanted was the balcony shot. And they didn't get it. They were denied being on the balcony, and they were denied to even sit on the same side of the church. Okay. Let's see. They were denied the panning shot associated with the couple with the Queen. Okay. Unable to walk any distance, the monarch watched the service from Windsor Castle. However, to the delight of thousands, packed from Admiralty Arch down the Mall and in front of the palace, the Queen had appeared the day before with the working royals on Buckingham Palace's balcony for an extended Trooping the Color. Banned from that appearance, the Sussexes were restricted to a snap photograph looking down at the parade from a small office window. That was the totality of their exposure. Has anyone seen that photo? A picture of them just looking in the window from the palace at what was going on while the balcony had all the working royals, really? Okay. Meghan will be 45 in August. Oh, she's 5 years away from being 50. Wow. That's amazing to me. Thanks for looking it up, Ashley. Oof. Okay. Yes. Maureen doing it together. Like Anne is for Charles. Anne is such a strong support for Charles. She's like his right-hand woman. And that should be Harry, but unless he gets divorced and moves back to London and then has a whole change of heart about everything and jumps back in and I don't know, is contrite and apologetic. I just don't know that he has that in him. I think he thinks he's right all the time. And I think Meghan convinces him that he's right. And I think he always thought he was right anyway, because I don't think many people told him no. Okay. With unusual skill, palace officials had excluded the Sussexes from any other public appearance. Labeled as Second Division Royals, Meghan concealed any sign of regret. By contrast, Harry's grim expression signaled disappointment about his exclusion from the front line. Over the weekend, the message he witnessed was the succession. The Queen to Charles, to William, to George. He was eliminated from the scenario. Well, that's no surprise. That shouldn't have come as like news to him or anything. He and Meghan were spectators as the Cambridges backed in universal applause during the sunlit coach ride with their children to the Trooping of the Color, and for their star billing during the spectacular Saturday night concert outside the palace. Before the Sunday pageant began, the Sussexes left Britain's gray skies and were on their private jet again. Concerned about global warming. I'm just saying. They get on these platforms and talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. The Sussexes left Britain's gray skies, were on a private jet, returning to sunny Santa Barbara. Meghan was undoubtedly relieved to be home. Harry had faced the reality of exclusion and exile. Their 10,000-mile round trip did not end with heartfelt smiles. The appearance of Meghan exacting revenge will harm the Queen. Shrewd, modest, and frugal, the mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother would want to end her days amid a happy family. Meghan and Harry appear determined to deny Britain's much-loved and longest-serving monarch that final happiness. The end. Yeah. This book was from I don't remember how many years ago it was, but it was before the Queen died. Mm-hmm. 2022. And now in 2026, 4 years later, we have from that moment to current time. I'm interested in what it has to say. Are you? Are you looking forward to it? I'm looking forward to it. Huey 11 was very smart and knew exactly what their game was with Netflix. She was a smart cookie. I think she had her head in the sand a lot because she loved those boys, and she also, I think, always had a soft spot for them after their mom passed away when they were so young. But she let Andrew get away with a lot too. So there was some of that, but she seemed to be on to Meghan. When you look at the way she even looked at her during the wedding, like she did not seem pleased. And she never really has. I mean, she's pretty stoic when it comes to public appearances. There's not a whole lot of laughter and cracking smiles, but it seems pretty clear that she wasn't a huge fan of Meghan, and I think she was very concerned about that wedding. Listen, I hope it works out for the two of them. I hope that they live together for the rest of their lives. I can't see it happening. It would shock me if it did, but God bless them if they do. I mean, there's always that possibility that as long as Harry has enough of a connection still to his family, that she'll just keep hanging on to him and using him for what she can. You know, he'll still get protection now for he and his family to go to London. So now they'll do vacations over there. Like, I feel like slowly but surely they're going to try to chip away and just get more and more and more. And she's going to use that title to acquire more, which is sad because she could have used that title to acquire a lot when she first came over. I mean, even though the whole leaving was awful, it's still like nobody thought much of it other than, okay. I mean, there's part of me that thought, all right, good for them. They're carving out a new life. If I were them, I'd want to do the same thing. I'd rather live in California than London, but I like sunshine. So I didn't think much of it, but it just seems like since they've come over here, they just make one mistake after another. It's just like one gaffe after another and one poor choice after another. Multiple poor choices. The firing of so many staff, the quitting of so many staff. I mean, that just speaks volumes, right? Like I don't have to say it. Just look at the track record. Something's wrong. Something's amiss. She always gave Meghan the side eye. The Queen knew Meghan wanted. Yeah. All right. Well, that was a good read. I feel like I have a good foundation and base now to prepare us for the next part. So we'll see. I'm probably on this channel just going to be posting some review videos of previous Welcome to Plathville shows. So I don't know if I'm going to be doing a live stream in the next couple of weeks until the next book comes out, but we'll see. I mean, who knows? I don't know what the next day holds. I didn't know I was returning to Tennessee this week. I thought there was another week in there somehow. My son is the one that informed me last night when I was talking to him. And he kind of mentioned, and he was talking about dates. And I said, well, no, it's, baby's not due until the 14th. He goes, well, Mom, it's the 7th. And I'm like, it's the 7th? I was thinking it was like the 1st or the 2nd. Because the 7th, that means that she's due next Saturday. That means this Thursday, I'm going back to Tennessee. I don't even know. I don't know up from down right now. So I can make no promises on live stream. So the best thing for me to say is we'll table them for now. I'll try to focus on getting Welcome to Plathville review videos out. I think I have at least 2 seasons to catch up on. And now I think the 3rd one is starting already. So I really I hope there's not a lot of episodes. It would be lovely if there were 8 or 10 episodes, but I have a feeling there's more. And I'll do that on this channel for the intermediary period of time before we start live streams again, reading Revenge number 2. I wonder what he's going to call it. What do you think? I don't know. All right. But thanks for being here with me. I've really enjoyed reading the book, and it's so much better reading it with you. And I especially appreciate all of you who do all the research for me as I'm reading it, looking up words, looking up locations, teaching me about royal stuff that I don't know. It's been good. So come back when we do the next book because I'll need you again. I am sure he's not changing his writing style. I'm still not going to understand many words, and I'm going to need you to look them up for me. You're going to have to share with me what these places are and these protocols are and a little bit about British history, even some just words. Who knew? What was the word that had 2 L's in it? There was a word that has 2 L's that doesn't in America. All right. You are welcome, Maureen. It'll be good. It'll be good. As soon as it comes out, we'll get started again. Take care. God bless. And I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone. Good night.
You're like, Megan, 1 tear, left eye, go. Give me 3 seconds. You're making yourself cry. Yeah. Oh, I can do that so well. Oh my God, it's crazy. You're like, Megan, 1 tear, left eye, go. Give me 3 seconds.
With a camera trained in front of her, crying. 1 tear, left eye, go.